Hey everybody, I've been recording for the last hour or so, going over some stuff. I showed you guys the base here, and we got working on a little latex tree project where I discovered some things like normal pipes won't pump fluids out of buckets in any normal, easy way. So, well, anyway, and then I just discovered that I haven't been recording this whole time. Yep, messed up. Anyway, really quick rundown. I went over the big giant L of, this is cast iron here, as you can see, which goes into the bloomery so I can make regular iron, which is that right there. I showed you guys there was this mirror system for the light from the telescope. So this is one of the mirror things that's going to be reflecting heat into the coke oven in the bloomery over here. Yeah, and I still need to do some kind of representation of the light going from the telescope to there, all that. But yeah, that'll come later. I also showed off, I wasn't sure if I had shown this in the previous episode. I don't think so, but we have that forge over there. This is a secondary forge over here, which I actually use more now, mainly for making mass ingots. I heat up the metals in there, and we can use this channel to spread the liquid molten metal throughout into all the casting molds underneath, and underneath each one of those is a hopper. So when the ingot's done cooling enough, they go into this chest for easy pickup. So it's a nice little setup, and as you can see, I've got a ton of metal ingots out here. I've been working hard on all of that. You may notice that this thing is sort of gone, kind of a mess. Got to clean up all of this. But yeah, this was the shower. The shower doesn't really work. I put it on top of lava, which wasn't the best thing, and the heat from this lava really makes summers difficult. But hey, it's part of the decoration and the vibe I'm going for, so just got to live with it. If I die a little more to heat stroke, I don't think it matters, because I've died 174 times now in like 2 months of the server. So yeah, anyway, this didn't work. I'm gonna rebuild it somewhere else, and I needed the pieces to try to fix the latex farm that we're working on putting together right now. So here's where we're at with the latex farm. These are tree taps. You can put them on certain trees to get certain things like syrup and latex out of kapok trees, which is the jungle tree of the TerraFirmaCraft pack. And the sap will pour out of the taps into the barrels. And I got a barrel on each side of the tree. So there's 4 barrels that collect sap from this tree. Now, if we look here, you can see efficiency 0.25. Now, if there was only 2 tree taps, it would be efficiency 0.5. If there was only 1 tree tap, it would be a full 1 point efficiency. So I believe the best method is to still go for 4 barrels at 25% of efficiency, but I could be wrong. If 1 barrel's better, if someone knows for sure on that, if you could let me know in the comments, that'd be great. I'd love to know. So anyways, I used these pipes and I tried to see if I could pump fluid out of the side of the barrels. That didn't work. They don't connect properly. They do look like they connect properly to the bottom of the barrel though, but they don't just draw it out. And I know fluids are supposed to work on gravity here. So my next step was create a fluid pump, which I'm almost ready to install. So I made up this little system just to see if I can use one fluid pump to pump all the fluids from there into this barrel. And then we'll go from there. I got a little bit of water source here. This was the shower that I took apart, but it's still missing one little piece from working. That's the gearbox right there. I only made one, wasn't thinking, but I don't currently have a metal casing. So I got to make another one of those really quick. And the metal casing you can see is a wrought iron plate, so it's a lot more expensive. I also just ran out of shafts, so I just had to go make some more, which was fun because you can't just craft them. You have to heat up the forge, get all that going, and then you make some kind of a bronze plate. There's any type of bronze will work, but you use 2 ingots to make a single plate, and then you use a saw on that, which cuts it down into shafts. So simple. But anyway, I'm gonna make another plate and I'll get right back to it. So first I'm gonna need coal and I'm gonna need a fire starter. Go over here, put the coal in the forge, light the forge. I'm gonna need some tongs, so grab those. Hopefully this is enough coal. Let's see, and we need an iron plate. which is going to be 2 iron ingots that take so long to make. So I just love totally not wasting them for something like this, to get a single plate to put on a single piece of tree. It's fine though. I'm also going to need a log to place it on, so I'll just grab something out of the coke oven. So first step is I need to weld these together, so I need for it to get hot enough to weld, which was just there. I want to get it a little bit hotter so I have a moment to work with it so it doesn't just cool off instantly. And let's go. And we put it in there, we hit the weld, we're good there. And there's the plate. Just gonna go past it because the plate ones are always pretty simple. And then I'm gonna work back, and there we go, we got a plate. Cool it off so I don't burn myself. Let's go ahead and put the tongs up for now because I won't be needing them. All right, plate's done. Now, put a log down. Put that, yep, perfect. All right, and we got it. Wait, but I still have to craft it. What am I doing? Okay, I've got a crafting table right there. And the basic, it's such a pain. I don't have a hammer on me. Luckily, there's still one in here that's about to break. I'm gonna have to make new hammers soon. No big deal. But there we go. I've got everything. 4 more shafts. It's so expensive. All right, put the hammer back in the anvil and let's go see if this will work. It all leads up to this. If this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, that probably means there's no way to pump the fluid properly. It's not going down. Okay. We don't know if it's actually set right. Maybe now it'll pump? Still not working. Now, that looks like the right way, but it's always a good idea to switch directions and test just in case. Still doesn't appear to be draining. All right, that's all a bummer. Doesn't look great, but there's still another option possibly. I could use actual create pipes to pull the fluid from here. Oh, that's not even connected. But yeah, these are gonna come out anyway, it looks like. I don't think there's any way I can automate pumping of the fluids out of here using at least the regular pipes. I'm gonna put that back to there since I'm pretty sure that's more likely to be right. And next step, I'm gonna go gather up all the pipe I have. I'm sure it's not gonna be enough. Maybe I can get enough just to test though. Oh wait, I've got pipe on me. All right. Let's try this out. Okay, if I put one pipe there, pipe, pipe, pipe. Now is that? Oh, we got movement and it's pumped into there. Perfect. All right, I have this gold drum I made. I'm gonna toss that there. Will it connect? Oh yeah, that works. So now this can be a main storage point and I can connect pipes off of it to other barrels. I am going to unfortunately have to make a bunch of copper pipes, and that's not fun or easy. It takes a lot of work just to make a single one. So, and I want to connect all of these trees to a latex barreling system. So I'm going to have to gather some more materials. I'd say we have a little bit of success here, surrounded by a lot of failure. Luckily, failure of recording hid a lot of the other failure, but hey, it's kind of working. Oh, hey, does this work? Can we see sap going through? Sap, it's latex. There it is. Latex went through. That's so cool. All right, anyway, enough coolness. I'm going to go forge a ton of copper pipes. Need so many of them. It's going to be so much fun, but hey, I'm here for it. Has anybody seen where I left my candle? I think it's around here somewhere. Oh yeah, it's on my hat. Anyway, I'm out here at my latex farm, and as you might have just noticed, it's a little different. You see, while we were working on it last, I cut to rearrange some things, and Ricky came over, and he told me I'm doing it all wrong. Yep. And, well, he actually helped out a lot and set me on the right path. I now have a great storage and a system. When he showed me what to do, I came back, and it had just hit winter. Yep, that really sucked. These trees need at least 12 degrees Celsius to form latex, and winter here gets below that. So no latex for the whole winter. But winter's over. Yep, winter has ended, and I'm now finally producing latex, and it's time to show you guys how this little machine farm for latex has been scrapped together. Let's check it out. Okay, so we have the trees here. This is a pattern I went for. I discovered, first of all, like there's not a tap here. You may notice this is too far away from the main pump, I guess. It wouldn't drain this one and wouldn't drain this one. Oh, there were other trees back here that it wouldn't drain either. So I removed those, but I got a couple more closer. Now I've got 8 more buckets that I just added. There's something like 20 buckets here or so. I don't know exactly, but there's a good amount of latex being brought in. And I needed more power, so I got 3 water wheels going now, and that's doing a very sufficient job. There seems to be a little bit of a bug with this thing. It's pumping through it right now, but it's red. It should be closed. I'm always turning it on, and every time I come back, it says it's closed, but it's still working. So I think it's not really closed. Just some kind of a bug going on. And this here is my vat, my big giant keg of latex. And if we take a look, I've currently got 114,000 millibuckets of latex. Yep, that's a lot of latex I can use to turn into rubber. This little farm might take care of my latex needs for the season. So while I was doing this, I got kind of sidetracked on another project, especially since I had to wait through winter. And since I played Create Mod last, they have added a new item, and I didn't know anything about it until very recently, and it looks pretty cool. I kind of want to use it, but in Gregtech here, with the way the gears work, regular normal wooden gears like we have in Create only let you get 8 SU, I believe, maybe it's 6, I think it's just 8. And then steel lets you get up to 32 SUs. Should be way more, but it's not. But anyway, this is it's a chain conveyor, and I've hooked it up. As you can see, they go a max of 32 blocks by default, which is what we have on the server. But a little graphic glitch there. Those chains aren't rendering in, but they are there. But yeah, this little ski lift looking thing is hopefully going to be a quick route for me to get back and forth to the big city out there. And what I can do is I use my chain and I can hang on to it, as you can see right there. But currently at a max SU of 32, it goes insanely slow. Not worth it. And I made this little windmill here to power it, but I'm not using it right now. So I converted it to a vacuum chamber. Yeah, vacuum chamber, as we can see here. That latex that we're gathering over there in the new farm, first I take it to a vat on an oven, and I put it in the vat and I mix it with sulfur powder, and you cook it down into vulcanized latex. Then I take all my vulcanized latex and I put it in this vacuum chamber, and it turns it to rubber pulp. And then I take that rubber pulp down there to the big city, and I use Ricky's new steam machinery he's got there, the new big city tech that's beyond my capabilities down here. And I use those machines to then smelt that rubber with sulfur and into rubber ingots, which is, I guess, the main form of rubber. It can then be molded into plates, cut for wires, all sorts of things. And so, yeah, that's going to be useful, and I'm going to need that to increase the speed of the chain conveyor to hopefully a reasonable speed that'll take us across that distance a lot quicker than it currently does. And so if steel has a max SU of 32, aluminum, which is now what I'm after for the next tier, is a max of 128, I think. That's a lot faster than what I'm pulling here. So it should make a decent difference with the chain conveyor. But aluminum's a problem. It's not easy to get to. I needed this vacuum chamber so I could make wires. I did try to use a rotational speed controller, which was not easy to make, but I made it, and it couldn't produce enough speed still with this limit that we have on SUs for gear types. You can see right here, this is a steel cogwheel. It doesn't look like your normal Create cogwheels. This is made out of steel. But anyway, the big goal now is aluminum, and I'm getting pretty close to that. To get aluminum, I'm going to use this create centrifuge, and it's got to be crafted with mechanical crafters. And look at this grid. That's 7 mechanical crafters, 7 mechanical crafters, and then 4 more in between. And this will form this centrifuge. And I guess we could take a look at the ponder really quick, and you can see how it works. We probably got to make these basins still for it. And we put them on, we run this like so, and it will produce different material depending on what you throw in there. Now I've got a lot of gems here, and I hear a lot of the gems can produce aluminum. And same with clay. I guess clay can also produce aluminum. At very low chances, but it's the only real method of getting aluminum. So that's the plan. I'm gonna get that aluminum once I make the mechanical crafter. Then I'm gonna take you out there, down there to the big city down there. And we're gonna use Ricky's compressor that he made. It's a steam compressor, pretty cool. And apparently that can turn the aluminum nuggets that I'll get from the gems and clay into aluminum ingots. And then from there, I can turn it into aluminum gears and shafts. Can't wait. So we're getting pretty dang close, and I've already made everything I need for the mechanical crafters. I need 17 of them, which is just not great. That's a lot of them. It was quite a grind to get everything I needed, but that grind is over, and now we have 17 mechanical crafters. That's a big milestone for me right there. So now I'm gonna have to go put them in this shape, and you'll see it just takes treated medium density fiber boards, which I can make those. Needs long black steel rods, 4 of them. Now black steel is getting pretty close to end game, but luckily Ricky down there in the big city has just hit black steel, and I went up and I stole a couple ingots from him without him knowing, and I got the 4 rods that I need for that now. We also need steel cogwheels, which I have because Ricky gave me some. So awesome. We need metal casing, which that's pretty easy. We also need treated wood frames. That's not too bad. We just need treated wood sticks. So we're gonna need a bunch of treated wood for this stuff. I think I have all that ready, but I got to do some gathering to get all that together. You also may notice this here. We have our coke oven, which we're currently cooking a lot of coal finally, which gives us coke, which cooks better. And it also produces twice as much creosote, and our creosote is full. Oh, it's not even cooking right now because this wooden vat here that holds 1,000,000 millibuckets is full. Yep, this filled up actually pretty quick. This was a major upgrade to the storage, but I'm gonna need another one. So I'm probably gonna put another one like right here and pipe it to that. So hopefully they can chain together and I can have 200,000 millibuckets and go for another day of storing it. But it's gonna be great having all that creosote. So I guess next step is I need to find a place to put the mechanical crafter. I don't want to run it over here because this vacuum chamber is temporary as well, because this windmill is going to be powering the chain conveyor. So that's gonna require all of that windmill. So I'm going to make a power source somewhere around here, and I'm going to set up the mechanical crafter, and we'll get back to this and we'll get that centrifuge built. Can't wait. That's a big goal. Okay, so I've put in 3 water wheels here, just like over on that side, and we're going to use these to power the mechanical crafter, which I guess I'm just going to place right here. All right, so let's go up 7. Yep, 7. There we go. And it's going to be 3 off to each side. So 1, 2, and 3. Let's get the other side. Get out of the water. And 1, 2, and 3. All right, we're almost there. Mechanical crafter, just about done. This is a huge achievement. Pretty excited. 3 and 4, and this should be it. Yep, that's it. Okay, now all the inputs are pretty close. A couple are off. Let's fix that. Get it shifting over to that side. Yeah, all good. And then this down here, we will push into a chest, which I'll put right there. All right, that's good. Now I need to go gather all the materials to actually make the centrifuge. So hang tight and I'll be right back. All right, get this last piece, and oh, it's auto crafting. I love to see that. It's actually coming together a little faster than I would have expected. And here it comes down the finish line. Almost have it. Centrifuge. This is going to be interesting. Never had this item before. I hope it's not too hard to use. It comes together and works just right. Look at that animation. I guess I pick it up from there. Yep, got it. All right, centrifuge. Heck yeah. Let's find a place up here to place it to see what it looks like. And boom. Look at that. That's cool. And it'll spin around and separate the materials of items inside. Okay. Aluminum was a failure. We're going to get into that in a moment, but I also figured I'd show you guys what it takes to make a rubber ingot, which is really the main reason I built all of this stuff, is because we need to make rubber ingots or other future rubber items. Now, once we have our latex being collected, we then need to gather it up in like a bucket. So now I have 10,000 millibuckets of latex, and you can see there's a lot in here. This tank's filling up. I'm setting it up to where I can put more in here soon. I'll get to that. But let's take this bucket now. And if we head up here to my main area, over here we got sort of like the cooking section. We got ovens, we got fire pits and all that. And right here is what we're going to need to use. First of all, we're going to take this latex and put it into this vat here. So now there's 10,000 millibuckets of latex in this vat. Now right here, I've got wood, and wood being fed into this insulated rustic bottom oven. Now I'm going to light this and it will cook the latex up. So let's do that. And there we go. It's nice and lit. It's going to get up the heat. Meanwhile, if we look over here, I've got a whole bunch of sulfur powder and some already split into tens, because it takes 1 sulfur per 1,000 latex. So 10 sulfur for 10,000 latex. Now it's in the vat and it will start cooking once I put the lid on. Yep. So now it's starting to boil. You can see it's boiling up there. And in a short time, it'll turn into vulcanized latex. And there it is. So let's go ahead and grab it, put it back in our bucket. Now, since this oven's being constantly fed with wood, it won't go out until all the wood is gone. So I put the shovel here just so I can easily right click it, put the fire out, and then put the shovel back. Now we have our barrel of latex. I've rearranged this system over here. So first of all, we're going to take all of our, it's a bucket, it's a barrel. Anyway, we put it in here. Now we got latex in that fluid tank. Now, really quick sidetrack here is the centrifuge. If I turn this clutch on, and if we look, there's a windmill down here underground. And right here, I can access it, and now it's on. This is spinning at, if we take a closer look at the speed controller, 56 RPM, and it's nearly maxed. I can't get much higher on the centrifuge speed. I've slowed it down slightly because the vacuumizer and the pump take up a little more than this can use max. So anyways, the short story is that this won't work because it needs to get up to a minimum of 100 RPM. And that's what I need to get aluminum, right? Well, you need aluminum gears to make it hit a minimum of 100 RPM from what I can see, which means I need another method of getting aluminum. And looking into it further, the info I had was bad. I can't just put gems and clay in here and get aluminum. That's not actually how you get it. I don't know how. The info I saw online seemed like it was the newest info, but it also seems completely wrong. I've heard aluminum is still an ore somewhere out in the world, so I guess I just gotta find it. But it doesn't matter much because aluminum requires an electric blast furnace to be worked, and that's mid voltage, which Ricky just hit ultra low voltage over there in the big city with steam. So we got a long ways to go. So this project is just shelved for a while, but it's here. We got it when we need it, and it looks cool. But you can see we also have a clutch over here. Now, this latex that I put in here is already gone because the pump has pumped it through into the crucible or into the basin. And now if I turn on this clutch, it'll go to work. Boom, the vacuum chamber is vacuumizing. It's got two modes. I guess you can't really see it in here. It's got like vacuum and blow mode. You can see the vulcanized latex is going down. It's 8,500, 8,250, and it's being processed into this raw rubber pulp. All right. Now, right here, these are rubber ingots. This is how much I've got so far, and this is the final sort of result for what we're doing here. Let's let this finish up, and in the meantime, I'm gonna need to get some of... Oh, I moved it though. Over here. Yeah, let's grab some sulfur dust. Not to be confused with the sulfur powder that we had to use to turn latex into vulcanized latex. And there we go. The latex has all been used up. Let's go ahead and turn this off just to save on server lag for everybody. And we'll grab the rest of the pulp. We've got 40 raw rubber pulp, and I've got some sulfur. So let's go ahead now. Head out there, down to the big city, and we're gonna do some steam work with some of the steam. I don't know why I'm doing a country voice today. Yeah, it just feels right, I guess. Anyway, let's go. Oh, we can see this is moving. I went ahead and reattached it since it wasn't working. And if I go ahead, grab my wrench and right click it, boom. Yep. Hanging on like I showed you, but now I'm moving. Yep, we're moving. We're gonna get to the big city in no time. And this is why I need aluminum gears. Hopefully aluminum's fast enough. If it's still like way too slow, that's gonna suck. Because I'm sure the next tier is even much further away. But anyway, we head up here to the big city. Luckily now, like I said, Ricky's got some great steam machines. And he's got one steam machine that I believe is called the alloy smelter or something like that. And that's this machine right here that's kind of hidden. He's got some pig iron in there. Let's take that out for right now. I'm gonna toss in the raw rubber and the sulfur dust. Immediately goes to work because he's got, oh, steam's not connected though. It must be running off spare steam it's got. Oh, okay. If we look up there, we can see steam 12,000. It's moving pretty fast. Probably won't get it all. Let's go ahead and reattach the steam power. Yep, that should get the creosote pumping in, and it should power this. Hopefully it gets steam in there in time. Ooh, steam's moving down fast. We still have a lot to go. Those boilers need to heat up, but in the meantime, if we look, rubber ingots. Yep, there they are. The rubber ingots. That's what it takes to get them. Quite a pain, not to mention all the stuff that it took to make, say, this machine, which was a pain, or that vacuum chamber I have back at the junkyard. But we got rubber, and now we can start processing it into other items. Something else we can do, we can take these rubber ingots and put them right there, and we can take this plate mold and also put it in there with the rubber ingot, and that's how we get rubber sheets. Now this plate mold I had to make with a bunch of steel plates. I'm under attack. Is there phantoms or am I overheating? 30 degrees Celsius. I guess that's hot. I'm a Fahrenheit guy myself, but yeah, seem to be overheating. I'm gonna go hop in the water really quick and cool down. But you get the idea of what it takes to make a rubber ingot, and then the rubber ingot is processed into other things, like say the plate, which you can then cut down into rubber coating for wires. A lot of work for what's generally one little ingredient in a greater machine that requires tons of crazy little ingredients, just like the rubber. So the rubber is great. I think besides down there on the southern continent, I'm the first one to get rubber up here. So I've given Ricky a bunch of rubber, plus he's also got full access to the junkyard. So really he can take any rubber he wants, but yeah, I gave him a little starter kit.